Hi everyone, so I'm here with Emma Cairo from Nordic Magic Link, and we're going to talk a little bit about Nordic magic and how you can do spells through singing. So, what is your background with Nordic magic and how did you get started?
Okay, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I enjoyed having you on my podcast, Nordic Magic Link. Was it last week?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And so what I do is something called Nordic music magic, which is basically Nordic shamanism. I am from Scandinavia, half Norwegian, half Danish. And I started this about 1.5 years ago after doing a shamanic journey workshop where something came to me was that I needed to use music as a magical tool and not just for entertaining people, because I am a singer and I've been singing professionally for 15 years or so. So I guess I can go a little further back. I was very interested in energy work, growing up with a mother who was a healer, kind of like a new agey type person.
Nice.
And so I became a Reiki healer about 6 years ago, and then 5 years ago I trained with a Wiccan witch for 6 months, learning ritual work. And then I didn't really use it much. But then when my father passed away, that's when I decided to do that shamanic journey workshop. And that's when it came to me I needed to develop Nordic music magic. And then as I was developing this concept, I learned that actually in Scandinavia, before we became Christian 1,000 years ago, we actually used to use singing as a magical tool. So what had come to me in a shamanic journey was something that was already in my heritage, you could say.
Nice.
And so the old ways of Scandinavia is really, they used to practice something called side or galder, which is, side is a few different things, and galder is the singing element of that magical practice, a spiritual practice. Where they would basically sing things into being. So they had these ladies that were mostly ladies, that could also be men, but they were mostly women, and they were called Vølve or vulvas in English. And
It's interesting because it sounds like vulva.
yeah, but it's actually with an O and not a U, but it could have the
It's
same
like
root.
birthing.
Yeah, definitely. Like it could have the same root. And so they would be called if there was like a sick child or the crops were bad in a village or something like that. Then they would call for the vulva, and she would come and sing the healing in, or sing better crops and that sort of thing.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So, and what exactly does the spell just consist of? Do you come up with like the lyrics naturally? Do you channel it, or is it something you sit and write? Like, what is the whole process of a singing spell?
So when I have clients at my house, first of all I do like I cleanse the space and I call the quarters and cast a circle before people come, so that the space is sacred. And then when they come, I explain everything, and then we talk about what they want to manifest in their lives. So I typically do 2 journey sessions with them in one go. So we start with a journey session where I want them to connect to their spirit guide, because they also did this in Scandinavia, and the spirit guide was called a fylke, which means someone who follows you, and in a good way,
Wow, that's
not
cool.
a stalker. And basically like a spirit, either an animal spirit or an ancestor or like a guardian angel type that's always with you. So we do one session where we call in their Vølve so they can connect. And then we talk about what they experience. That's about the session, the journey is about 20 minutes long. We talk about that, and then we talk about what they want to manifest. And then the next session is where I sing and call in the energies that they asked for. And so I just make it up as I go after they tell me
Wow.
what
So
they want.
you're mainly just working through the energy of sound and the voice to call that frequency
And words, yeah.
and words.
Yeah, and then
Okay,
I
wow.
use the drum, the shamanic drum, to basically what the shamanic drum does, the beat, it puts the mind into a theta wave state, where you can go into a very deep meditation. And the singing, when you do a very repetitive singing, it has a similar result. It also puts the mind in a theta wave state.
Like kind of hypnotic.
Yeah,
Like when
hypnotic.
you repeat
Yeah.
sort of lyrics.
Exactly.
Wow.
So I do that, both the drumming and the repetitive singing, in both of the sessions, because it puts the client's mind into a very deep meditation where I feel the magic can happen more easily and more transformative. And so, but the second session that we do, where I'm singing what they told me they want to manifest, is a little less repetitive, obviously, because I'm just kind of going at what I was just told and what I'm feeling that needs to come in. So I use different tones and different, I go up, sing something in higher tones and something in lower, and I call in the Nordic gods for help, and their Vølve, and the energy of Reiki as well.
And the Reiki is just from your own practice. You combined it.
So I'm just singing that in as well. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And which Nordic deities or goddesses do you connect with? Like, can you tell
Mostly-
us about some of the Nordic, like, mythology with Odin, or any of those sort of stories that resonate with you, or that you can share with people who are interested?
Sure, yeah. I mostly work with Freya because she's the goddess of magic and love.
And Friday's
And
named
spring.
after her, isn't it?
Either her or Frey, her
Okay.
brother.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she's perfect for she does healing and like anything to do with spring or bringing in creation or becoming pregnant, or in any way just creating and healing. She's good for that. And when people ask for like wisdom or more like clarity on certain things, I often call in Odin, because he is the god. He's the god of the gods, but he is also god of wisdom and kind of strategic war. But we don't use that much, not as individuals, anyways.
Well,
today,
war can
but-
be war, it doesn't have to be like savage war, just, warrior spirit, kind of like fighting for
Yeah,
what you need.
yeah. So in your strategic fight in your life, basically.
Awesome.
So yeah, I mostly use those two, but there are other deities, but in the Nordic mythology. But these are the ones that I feel mostly connected to.
What is, so I know a lot of people watching enjoy tarot, and I believe the Hanged Man tarot card is modeled after Odin, where it's a man hanging from the tree, the Yggdrasil, the tree.
Yeah.
Can you kind of tell people the story of that myth with Odin hanging from the tree, and if there's like significance to what this reality is?
So it's been a while since I read up on it, but I think he was he gave his his right eye, one of his eyes for wisdom. So sacrificed an eye for that, and he was hanging on the tree for, was it 3 days? So it sounds a little bit like the story of Jesus on the cross. And
Yeah.
we see this myth in a lot of cultures. So not sure where it originated from, but it's very interesting. And it's very interesting in general about spiritual practice and seeking wisdom, how it's always associated with giving something up, you know, sacrificing
Like the energy
something.
exchange, right?
Yeah, you're
You have to
sacrificing
give
something to,
like an offering
Yeah.
to the goddess, or offering in order to receive the wisdom. So
That
he had
or-
to sacrifice the eye to receive the wisdom.
yeah,
And
that
he
or
waited for
giving
3
something.
days.
And then he was hanging on Yggdrasil for 3 days.
And it's interesting that number 3 almost always comes up.
True. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
What about Freya? What is her, if people are interested in exploring Freya, like to work with her as a goddess, or just to know more about her, like what's the short summary of
So she is an extremely beautiful woman, and she has long blonde hair. She is very powerful in her female power.
like
and-
seductive vixen?
Yes, yeah.
Cool.
And she uses to fly. I think she uses, or is it for flying, or is it just she has like a, what's the word? It's like a wagon almost with cats.
Like a chariot?
Yeah, chariot. Thank
Okay.
you. With cats.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So she's like a.
With cats.
Yeah, cats are her.
Well, cats are
spirit.
also very sensual and like fertility.
Right. Yeah.
That's so funny.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Cool. And so, if someone wants to listen to some of your songs, how could they find you? If they want to be inspired to learn how to do some Nordic magic singing.
If they want to learn more about this particular practice, they can listen to the podcast Nordic Magic Link, which is on most podcast platforms and YouTube. And they can go to my website, which is nordicmusicmagic.com. And if they want to hear my music, it's just my name, Emma Cairo, on all music platforms. But the type of music that I do with Nordic Music Magic is obviously very different from my regular music, which is more like pop, different types of pop elements in my original music. But I am working on releasing a song that I do use in Nordic Music Magic, which is called the Manifestation Song. And this is a song where people can
Nice.
listen to it and sing along as they're focusing on what they want to manifest.
So do they like visualize as they're singing?
Yeah.
So when you do your work, you still also kind of working with visualization and stuff?
When I sing that song, I usually do it at the end when I have clients.
Okay.
They have to envision what they want to manifest while I'm singing the song. And that's the only song that's in English within the Nordic Music Magic. The session itself is where I sing in Danish, because that's my language, so that's what feels most powerful to me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you for sitting with me and explaining to the viewers a bit more about Nordic magic. I know that a lot of people have interest, but there's not so much information out there about it. So hopefully we can do some more collaborations and share more of this information with people. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.